The day of the month that you are born is one of the most important numbers in Chaldean Numerology. In this video, I'm going to talk about my birthday vibration, which is called 19/1. It's called as an archetype the Heavenly Prince. So the birthday number is the portal between my higher self and my human self. It accounts for about 30 to 50% of my most visible personality traits. It's how my higher self expresses itself on the physical plane, and it also connects my higher essence with my daily life on earth. So it's a very important karmic lesson, and it's also a vibration that my soul has chosen. There are 31 birth dates, one for each day in the month, which has each their own unique characteristics, and these 31 birthdays can be combined down to 9 fundamental vibrations that, like 31, can be reduced to number 4, and each of these numbers can be reduced to a number between 1 and 9. But let's talk about number 19. Number 19 is associated with the number 1, and the number 1 gives me an innate drive and enthusiasm. It's also the number of the sun, and the sun, it shines its light on all the planets, giving life to the entire solar system. The sun, it provides power, optimism. It has a drive to be the best. It has leadership skills and a huge inner desire to be free, self-reliant, and control everything by himself. One of the characteristics of the number 1 is that when it flows freely, it's very creative. It's like a river that surges forward, that needs freedom, movement, and expression. Number 1s have sort of an inner gold medal around their necks because they are the best. And as a number 1, I'm number 1, you most probably want to tell others that you are very good and you are the best at what you do. It can be difficult to discuss anything with number 1 because we can be quite stubborn. So once you decided what you want to say, it's very hard to go away from that point. Admitting mistakes is not easy for number 1. It can feel like having a defeat. So it can seem from other people's point of view that you can be a bit arrogant. As number 1, I'm number 1 here. Number 1s usually love luxury. They have a tendency to love beautiful, expensive clothing, fine dining, fancy cars, jewelry. So I'm a number 1 man, and I like to wear different jewelry, most spiritual jewelry, but I like to have something that sort of makes me feel luxurious. The number 1s are also very good at formulating ideas, and especially if you have other people do the dirty work or the heavy lifting. We want to do the number 1s we want to do the smart way, not the hard way. So we always think of how can we do it the most clever and smart way. And as number 1, luck naturally comes to the number 1 because they have the energy of the beginning. So we are sort of following the synchronicity, following the signs of the universe. The number 1 is, of course, a born entrepreneur because we want to be the best and we want to be free. So we put in our very best at whatever we do, and we want to rise to the top of society and be top leaders, politicians, entrepreneurs, lawyers, etc. So in the love life of a number 1, they can attract people who sort of feed the ego and just praise you, and that can also mean that a number 1 can easily experience jealousy because it wants to be the center of attention if it's unbalanced. So one of the things that's most important emotionally for a number 1 and to be most liberated is to look into being open to advice and feedback. Make sure you're not being dictatorial, stubborn, arrogant, angry, power hungry, overly perfectionistic, but be connected to the source energy, the sun, be full of infinite power and enthusiasm, be unaffected by the clouds in the sky. You will keep shining. So the number 19 is a variant of the number 1. It has like luck, purity, and intuition to it. 1 and 9 add up to 10, and the sun is like it stands behind number 1, and it shines on its surroundings and it leads others full of goodwill. It has a very strong winner mentality. I used to be a very high level swimmer, and every sport I've ever tried, if I'm not one of the best, very quickly, very easily, I don't want to do it. So it wants to be the best. Quite optimistic. Always people tell me that I'm very optimistic. The number 19 aspect of the number 1 stands for innocence, freedom, luck, and intuition. The tarot card for 19 is called the Heavenly Prince, where you see a naked child that is shown on the card riding a white horse. The symbolism is purity, being naked, great luck, a bright future, and that everything you touch turns to gold. So since I have the number 19 as my birth energy, I have access to a tremendous inner optimism and courage, and quite often have lucky coincidence synchronicities that lead me to the desired results I want, and I'm being carried forth by life. The number 19 is very optimistic, have a very pure mind with pure thought, and I have this number all over the place in my numerology, Chaldean Numerology. So what is really important for that is that I enjoy life. I feel pleasure because I have a number 2 inside of this number if you look in the diamond of 19. And also I have the number 3 in the diamond essence of 19. That means I have to build things up step by step. So I have some good sense of grounding and reality. So I have this strong will and enthusiasm. And then I also have the number 9 in number 19 that provides structure and wisdom. So it's like I can move from 1 to 9. I can go from the start and take it to the end. So that's one of the reasons why it's called everything you touch turns into gold. So the number 19 is also has a sense of aesthetics, and they have quite a big wish for both personal and economic freedom, and often achieve both with ease. If they don't do that, it could become very depressed, but they're usually quite good at getting to the end of the tunnel and seeing the light of the end of the tunnel, no matter what might happen along the way. It's really important for number 19, birthday number, and if you have it somewhere else, to have the pure intention. Have positive expectation of the future, because then you're gonna then you'll manifest your purpose the easiest and make your plans succeed and bear fruit. And what is quite interesting about number 19 is that we seem younger than we truly are. We sort of keep our young charisma and shine even in old age. So when I look into people who are famous, who have the number 19 as a birthday number, most of them look quite young even when they're older. So one of the biggest emotional issue to the number 19 is our tendency not to want to see issues. We can become so overly optimistic that we close our eyes to the challenges and wind up not taking responsibility for our life. So we kind of live in a dream world. Also, it's quite important that we not shut out the problematic emotions, so they not become repressed and thereby not processed. So that's one of the things that's so important for me, is that I do sound healing. I do the Sedona method to release emotions, and I let go of my wanting to control. So really important to look things straight in the eye. Luckily, I have a lot of numbers that actually make me quite sensitive to realize this. But everything that we experience in life is a blessing in disguise. So every time we get a disease or have emotional issues or have issues with our finances, everything is sort of a blessing in disguise. It's a package that's sometimes wrapped in sandpaper, but when we unwrap it, it becomes our biggest blessing. But moving on with number 19 here. we have a tendency to bury problems that can make you seem childish or uncentered to some people, so you don't get taken seriously. So you have ideas that seem to be without reality, without grounding. You have so many ideas that never materialize. So that's when number 19 becomes imbalanced, unbalanced. Then we can also have a tendency to put off adult choices, responsibilities that take us to our next level, like living in a dream-like free world where everything is possible, and thereby delaying decisions about career by preferring to keep our options open. So we don't really buy the car or take the chance or buy the apartment or the house because we're afraid of responsibilities. And my brother's actually also born on the 19th, so I have a lot of experience with this. And they are close to 40, and they still look quite young, and they still have wear a lot of young clothes, could you say? But that could also give you an air of desperation when you still act like a child when you're 40 or 50. But I would say grow, mature, but still remain that childish innocence and childish way of being creative and playing through life. It's still important to have. So the number 19 has also a tendency to find it hard to rise again after a crisis. So when life is against you, it's like you have to take things step by step, because the essence number of number 19 is number 21. It's a symbol or number that symbolizes where you achieve the ultimate success after following the necessary steps. So it's like taking the necessary steps before you get success. You have to put in the work, you have to make the winning strategies, you have to pursue this strategy, you have to have both the power of the creative and optimistic force of the number 19, but also have the mindset of the number 21, having meticulously building up the success, and it will bring forth the best in number 19. So that's the number 19, 1, in Chaldean Numerology, and some of its good points and also some of its tendencies to what can create issues for it. So I hope it was interesting for you. My name is Simon August, and if you want to learn more about Chaldean Numerology, you can subscribe to this video below the video here. All my love, have a wonderful day.